This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are back again today with Debra Hodgen, our biodynamic craniosacral therapist at Debra Hodgen Wellness, based out of Carlsbad, California. And we're going to dive back in, for some of the new timers out there, or just a refresher of what exactly it is, how she's helping people, and so much more. So first and foremost, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. And I'm excited we're back today, going a little bit back to basics, but it's been great getting to meet all the people you've worked with in the past. And I think it's really brought so much to the show, to you, to what you do, and highlighted so much. So thank you for that, Debra.
Yeah, it's been fun. And even though I know the people, there's things I don't know about them. So the way they've shared has been interesting to me too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Please tell us a little bit about who you are,
Okay.
what you do, and we'll dive into, again, what craniosacral therapy is.
Okay, so biodynamic craniosacral therapy is a very gentle connection to people. It's mostly based on the cerebral spinal fluid and the nerves of the body. So the experience that a person would have on the table would be usually one of deep relaxation. Sometimes people, if they're tired, have even fallen asleep. So everything in the body is connected to the nerves, and sometimes you don't even know why something might be uncomfortable or something's not functioning well. And quite often, as a therapist, I can sort of see into what the system needs. And sometimes I don't even know what or why, but I can feel it and it happens. So for me, I start by grounding myself, feeling my feet into the earth, and then looking for something above, like a connection overhead, and then a connection to the horizon, and then a tent stake, what we call a tent stake, where I can feel grounded toward my back body. And that seems to be a good way for me to start. And pretty much everybody has had some sort of issue or trauma or injury or something. And we might have dizziness and we don't know what it's coming from, but it could come from something a little bit random that we never even knew, that you fell off a horse when you were 9 years old or something, and it stays in the system. Even prenatal traumas can stay in the system. And so once they've been seen and addressed, then not affecting your life.
Yeah.
And most of the time after a session, clients are usually relaxed. Sometimes they want to take a nap. They sleep better. Their digestion's better. And it fits in for folks that are already working with some kind of a healer. Craniosacral just magnifies whatever it is the person is doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking people have asked me, how did you get into this, or how did it start? And I mean, way back in junior college, I was thinking I'd be a psychiatrist, a psychologist. And then I found out you had to do statistical math.
You're like, no.
Not my strength. So then I thought, okay, art major. And then I had a teacher that used to say, perfect is not good enough, which is not the kind of mode you want to be in for an artist. So I finished my 2 years at the community college, and then I applied to a couple universities, and I was accepted to UCLA.
Wow.
And I ended up getting my degree in dance from UCLA, which was a great experience because we also did kinesiology,
Wow.
which gave me a little window into the body, and I saw how much that interested me. So I did that, and I performed a bit and had a company, a little baby company. And then after I had children, I was looking for something else, and I began to teach yoga because I was connected to the body stuff. And I was a meditator, and I a little bit later in life started doing yoga, and I
Mm-hmm.
liked it very much. And then I went to New York for 3 years, and that's kind of how where I got started with yoga. I found out I called a yoga studio to see if they had any classes I could take because I had been taking a bit of yoga, and they said I heard on the answering machine that they were starting a training. So I said okay, and I did the whole training that they offered, and it's very interesting because sometimes yoga just seems like some movement and stretching and so forth, but it really does make a connection of the mind, body, and spirit, yoking those three. And I remember one day when I had started teaching back there, a woman was new to my class, and she came, and she did pretty well in class for not having very much yoga. And
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, she came up to me and she said, I just want you to know I've I've really enjoyed your class, and I've been contemplating suicide.
Ah,
And coming to your class gave me some hope that life could be better.
ah.
I mean, how do you, how do you take something like that in? It's just amazing. So then in 2000, had started craniosacral training before I went to New York, and I needed to let it go because I was moving. And then when I came back, I started in again. So the first part of my training I did a couple times, and by 2007, I was certified in craniosacral therapy. And what's somewhat interesting is I've learned a lot of things, and sometimes I don't get to use them because nobody's coming to me for that particular issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to review, and so what I do to help that is I assist my original teacher in her trainings that she's doing now. And so I get to hear those words again, and it just enlivens it and sort of cements it into what I learned in the past. And can't remember everything all the time. So it's
Mm-hmm.
nice to hear again.
Wow.
And I sometimes bring in other things that I do or know or whatever into the craniosacral. When you're learning it, you want to learn it exactly as it is. Then later on, I've been a bit of an intuitive, and so quite often I'll work on somebody. I was working on someone, and I could see a little girl in a red kind of cowboy outfit with the skirt and the vest and the hat. And at the end of the session, I asked about that. And she said that was her favorite outfit when she was a little kid. It's like, it just makes me feel that there's more than, this
Yeah.
hard stuff. And so I really like it. And it helps things that you wouldn't even expect it could help. It's really great with headaches and migraines and neck issues and just lots of things. Asthma, even. I have a
Really?
young client, and I don't say I'm an MD or anything, and I'm sure it helps to have the medical community, but also sometimes the body can block some of the healing that comes to it from different places. And with the craniosacral therapy, it just sends a signal to organs or the nerves or whatever, and it helps with healing. The biodynamic style is a little different. There is an upledger style, which is mostly directed at massage therapists, and so they add that to their practice. And the biodynamic is a bit different, came from the osteopathic field, and kind of, that knowingness of the person who was the most instrumental. He started working with the skull because at the time he did it, everybody thought the skull was just one hard thing. Here's the skull. And he found in his work that there was movement in the different sections of the skull. And that's what began that whole process. And then it developed and became craniosacral therapy. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Want to hear more, and we're going to talk more about yoga. Let's just remind everyone
Yes.
who we're talking to.
Yes.
And again, with our specialty here, Debra Hodgen, craniosacral therapist. Debra Hodgen Wellness is the name of her company, and she's here helping really with her healing modalities and hands-on massage and the yoga too. We're going to talk more about, but really just helping healing overall. So thank you for that.
Yes, and I believe that what I've had as an experience is the more open a person is, the more relaxed and willing, the better and bigger result they have. If someone's rigid, or occasionally a person will come because a mate or someone has suggested that they do, and they might have that little fence, that little wall up. So they don't get as much from the session. They still get some healing, but it's not as good as, they don't have the experience of something as good. That's for sure. And they if they're willing to come back a few times, then it starts to open up. But quite often the people that are resistive stay resistive. That's what I've noticed. I was working with a little girl this week, and she and her friend were on floaties on the swimming pool, and somebody pulled on the floaty and their two heads banged together. So her mom took her to the hospital. She wanted to see if she had a concussion, and she did. But one of the most important things in craniosacral is to hold presence, and you really feel that the most when you're with children. You can't tell them a lot or do this or whatever. You have to just really be there and let them lead what they want to know or what they're willing to do. And this little girl, she's 7. She stayed on the table the whole time. And right toward the end, she goes, how many minutes did I have to? But she did a whole hour session. And what I felt while she was on the table was sort of a tipping from side to side on the two sides of her head, and almost a infinity sign. So I think what had happened is she got hit here, and so it was out of balance, and then the craniosacral helped the two lobes of the brain come back into balance. So that was kind of rewarding. I enjoyed that. I'm crazy about kids, so I don't get to see.
Oh my goodness. You
So
can
I'll
come.
also,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I said you can come babysit. I have an 8 and 10-year-old.
Oh, I'd love it. I would love it. I just have a
Thanks.
little bit of trek to get there.
Yeah, right?
So I'll tell you a little bit about why I'm doing chair yoga. When I got back from New York, that was 2001, I began teaching again, and I started right in my house just to get some students. I have one student, her name's Sandy, and she's, ever since 2001, she's been my student. So all these years, no matter where I'm teaching, what I'm doing, whatever, she comes to class. So anyway, I taught out of my house, and then I started teaching in studios, and I took pretty advanced classes. I started yoga a little later than a lot of people do, but still we did classes that
Mm-hmm.
were challenging. And then over the years, I've just seen a need that people still want to do yoga, but sitting on the floor is a lot for older people. And it's hard to get up and down. And so I started teaching chair yoga, and I teach a few different classes. They're all a little different. Some of them I do divide the class in half. First half is seated and the second half is standing and holding the chair. And you can get a lot more done if you just have a couple fingers on a chair that you're
Wow.
not going to tip. And then the other classes I teach at assisted living or places like that, we do the whole class on the chair. And it's amazing how much you can, if you don't have a super active life, especially, you're not getting all the different parts of the body worked on. But we can, do shoulders, and we can do things with the legs and abdominals all seated. And I think and sometimes people have injured themselves too. It's not all older people. Sometimes people injure themselves, and then they want to get back into doing stuff. When I occasionally do private classes, I do any level that they need. And I've also done a lot of just classes where you're just relaxing, restorative classes, and you use different props, blankets and bolsters and so forth. You get into a yoga position, and then you just let gravity take over. And that's nice for anybody. That can really help. And I enjoyed teaching that. I haven't been doing it as much lately, but I'm about due to have another workshop. And sometimes it's fun to do it with a couple different friends of mine who do sound bowls. And we had Dennis Freight on our program before, and he does sound bowls. So you do restorative yoga where you're very relaxed. Then you have those nice sounds. You really can't beat that as far as making the body feel good.
Yeah, I want to feel good. I can't wait. Summer's almost at an end. I feel like, kids are going back to school. I need some of
Yeah.
this. I want to try some of this. I wish I lived closer.
Yes, yeah. So there might be people near you that do, if you see restorative, that's a good one. And regular yoga has a lot to offer too, because you can get strength and stretch and mobility and balance, so there's a lot happening. And then the other little thing I do too is I officiate at weddings and funerals and
Oh,
different things. I don't do it all the time. I don't really promote it too much, but I've done some really fun weddings, and um, kind of a non-denominational situation where I'm just bringing a positive atmosphere to the couple. So yeah.
wow.
That's all I can, yeah.
How often a day are you doing yoga? Just curious, what is like your routine?
Well, sometimes I don't do it at all. Sometimes I'll walk and do some yoga, like maybe even walk the dog, but I'll walk and try to incorporate a little bit of the movement like that with something with my hands and reaching and all that. As long as a lot of people aren't around me, I do that.
Yeah,
Can't do that in New York, can you?
no, it
Can't find a
can't.
place where you walk by yourself. But so most days I do something, and sometimes I'll do it in a chair. Sometimes I'll make up my own standing poses and add that to my day. But it is really good to do some sort of movement, even if it's a 5, 10, 15 minutes. It really gets the circulation going, and the body feels a lot better. And it doesn't take a lot to do that. Most of us, if we've been to any kind of class, can come up with a few of the poses that, struck us or that we liked. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And one
Well,
other thing
yeah.
that's interesting with the craniosacral is I sometimes do it remotely. So if somebody's kind of stressed out and needing a little bit of support, talking over the phone or talking on Zoom works really well. And the feedback I've gotten is folks can sense a real
Mm-hmm.
shift from to the end of the session.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I want to feel the
Yeah.
shift. And we got to be hands-on though, right? Like I said,
No, you just give me a call and I'll get you in your easy chair and get you relaxed.
beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, we still got a few more
Yeah.
minutes left here in the show. 5 more minutes to be exact. Wow. We're good on time for once. I like this.
I
Um,
know, it's because I didn't have a guest
I
today.
I know, but still lots of great stuff to talk about. What else do you want to make sure we cover for today, darling?
Let's see. I guess one thing I would say to people who do take yoga classes, mine or anybody else's, is to start out with a little bit of ease. So if you feel like you're needing to stretch your arm way over your head, start with part way and see how that is, and then a little more and breathe. And I think you're much, much less likely to have any kind of injuries or feel sore afterwards. But being very present, even with a forward fold or twists or whatever, you don't have to get to the maximum position by the time, by the very first time. So you can just keep easing into it, finding what needs to be addressed. And I've also done some yoga in water.
Hmm.
So like you're familiar, I'm sure, with water aerobics,
Yeah.
but yoga can be done, in the pool. I haven't done it as a class. I've done it more for myself. But if folks are taking yoga classes and they have access to a pool, they certainly can do it. Putting your hands on the side and stretching back and having support, you can put your back to the wall of a pool and do things like extending your leg, and you get a little bit of support from that water, which feels very, very good. So I highly recommend that. And I'm probably thinking about that because it's quite warm here today. And so being in the pool sounds like a great idea.
Sure does. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually chilly here in New York. It's like 60. It's chilly
It
today.
is.
I don't know why the past 2 days. Yeah. The hurricane and all that stuff going on, I guess. But how hot is it in California?
It feels really warm today. If you go inland, I'm probably 15 minutes from the beach inland, but the
Okay.
people that are more like an hour inland, it's over 100 for sure, 115 or so, some of those areas. And we haven't had a lot of real strong heat this summer, so I'm super glad. Of course, we could get it in our August and September, I guess, but yeah, I really like the warm but not too warm.
Got it.
Maybe 76 maybe.
Beautiful. Well, how can we reach out to you if someone is interested in your services, darling?
So the best way is my website, debrahodgen.com, and that's
Mm-hmm.
DebraHodgen.com. And on the website, there's also my phone number, so you can call and we can just chat on the phone and see if this feels like something you'd want to do. And as far as the chair yoga, anybody anywhere in the United States can take my class because I do it on Zoom. And I do have some students in other areas, which is really fun.
Beautiful. Well,
So
thank you. We will reach out and hopefully connect again next. Were you back on again next week?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I have it
Perfect.
on my schedule. I have to double check, but
Well, I just didn't want to
I
be shocked. Sometimes people say it's our last show today. I'm like, what? I didn't
oh,
know
right.
that. Good. We still have more. Well, thank you
And
again.
Peggy, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you again for being here. How did you want to say goodbye? What was that?
I was just saying that Peggy may be coming on and talking about the
Okay.
therapy she does using horses. So horses are around when she's doing her therapy. So that's very interesting. I think
Beautiful.
we have time for that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. Stay tuned, and we're looking forward to next week. Enjoy the day. To all of our listeners and viewers, stay
Yeah.
tuned. We'll be right back with more. Bye bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.